Oh, Tauben. Nice. 22nd October, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. It's been about 6 months now since I was last here. But some things never change. Like the sense of foreboding I always seem to feel in this place. Was ist Foreboding nochmal? Irgendwas Schlechtes. Foreboding. Unheilverkündend, okay. Es liegt Unheil in der Luft. Oh, Iris? It doesn't seem to be bothering Iris at all though. She's happily reading over there. Naja. 10-year-old girls be 10-year-old girls, I say. Das ist was zum Teufel. Oh, I love this place. I always find so many interesting books here. Of course, I was forgetting that you've been here before. Wann war Iris denn hier? Ach so, als Susato gesagt wurde, dass sie nach Japan zurück muss, ne? Da war Iris mit uns. The time we came here 6 months ago. Genau. When Susato-san was given the news that she was to return to Japan. Ah, I understand you wish to speak with me. Oh, Lord Strongheart, I trust you've been keeping well. Let's see. Since you arrived and requested an audience, it's been 4 hours, 32 minutes and 26 seconds. I've kept you waiting a while. My apologies. And there we are again. Oh no, not at all. I like nothing more than standing around staring into space. Good to know. Good to know that doesn't appear to bother him at all. Mayor Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of London. He's the man who allowed me to start practicing as a defense lawyer when I arrived in Britain as a student. You need only savor the air for a moment in this grand office to understand his preeminent status. Er ist auch das letzte Mal also er ist im letzten Spiel auch das erste Mal in Fall 3 aufgetreten, ne? Interesting. As you will be aware, the Great Exhibition of London is now underway at last. We are extremely busy as a result, policing the grounds, guarding the new technologies, dealing with petty crime. And furthermore, as of next month, we shall open the International Forensic Science Symposium. Oh, I've not heard about that. Investigating authorities from 40 countries around the globe will be taking part, including from your own land. Okay. Forensic science is the future. The world must embrace it. As we are the hosting nation, I have much to do, and it is my highest priority. If others must wait for my attention as a result, so be it. Okay. Well, it's nice to know where I stand. So, you wish to consult with me? Of course, I can very well imagine what this is about. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting, my lord. I want to be allowed to start working as a defense lawyer again in court. That's what brought me here today. But actually, there's something else playing on my mind, as it happens. Bruno, just take a deep breath and come out with it. Okay, dann machen wir mal Converse. Aber ich glaube, der Typ hat auch irgendwas zu verheimlichen. Der hat schon so eine Aura. Also im ersten Spiel dachte ich schon, dass er was zu verheimlichen hat. Und hier, ich glaube es immer noch. Permission to work. I actually came here to ask for your permission. Go on. 6 months ago, my right to work in court as a lawyer was revoked and I was told to spend my time studying. Obviously, I'm very sorry for what happened. But the thing is, it made me understand what it really means to defend somebody under the rules of a foreign justice system. And I desperately want to have another go. Please, permit me to enter the courtroom again. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Here it comes. I'm sure you haven't forgotten your position here, have you? At best, you are a substitute for your compatriot. This was never your intended role. Well, that's true. The Japanese government actually sent my best friend on the study tour, not me. It should have been Kazuma. He was so determined to bring change to our own justice system at home. That was his calling. If that tragic accident hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here in this office now. Mr. Asogi was my best friend, you see? That's why I can't leave it unfinished. I have to fulfill his calling for him. His calling, you say? Has it never occurred to you that perhaps you know nothing of his true calling? Doch, schon mehrere Male tatsächlich. Schon mehrere Male, weil er hat irgendwas von einer Special Mission geredet, die wir nie erfahren haben, was diese Special Mission ist. Und ich denke mal, es hängt mit dem Government Secret zusammen. Mit dieser Disk, wo sein Name drauf war. Ist aber nur eine Vermutung. Sorry? The mission with which that young law student was charged. What do you suppose it really was? What do you mean? Mission? He's not making any sense. Never mind. I've read all the reports you've submitted over the past 6 months. It's clear to me that you regret your actions and have been studiously obeying your revised instructions. Do you mean... As of this moment, I reinstate your license to practice law here in Great Britain. Nice. Thank you so much. That's wonderful news, Bruno. In fact, I believe I have the perfect case to mark your comeback. A curious affair. Das ist doch schon wieder sass, dass der jetzt einen Fall direkt für uns hat. You'll consider it, I hope. Of course. Please tell me more. A curious affair. You described it as a curious affair. Yes, that's right. I believe it was reported in the press. Are you aware that there was a serious accident at the Great Exhibition yesterday? Oh, no. Yes, I read about it. A professor from Germany. From Germany, ja Poggers! Tried to carry out a crazy experiment. Let me see. How was it described? Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, I think. Instantaneous kinesis? As in, moving things with a click of the fingers. That's right. It's just what my herbal blends need. A dash of devil may care. Whatever the serious accident was exactly, it's clearly captured Iris' imagination. It's an unfortunate business. A large explosion engulfed the public experimentation stage and a man lost his life. A certain Mr. O.D. Assman. An investor and a well-known figure in society. A large explosion. A man died? The man responsible for the experiment was Professor Albert Hairbrain. He was detained immediately after the incident and is due to appear in court tomorrow on the charge of murder. What? Murder? If you intend to take on his defense, you should hurry to meet with him at the prison. There's very little time left for you to carry out any kind of investigation. The Great Exhibition, a scientific experiment gone wrong, and murder. I feel out of my depth before I've even started. Still. We should go to the prison straight away then and try to meet with this German professor. Don't you think? Definitely. Ah yes, one more thing about the case. There's a connection with our mutual acquaintance, the Reaper. Okay. Oh, with Lord Van Zieks. How? Forensic Science Symposium machen wir dann erstmal. All sorts of conferences have been taking place around the world to coincide with the Great Exhibition. And next month, the largest and most important of them all will take place at last. The International Forensic Science Symposium. It does seem as though criminal investigation needs to embrace scientific methods, doesn't it? Exactly. Wie Sherlock Holmes es schon angebracht hat, schon mehrmals. Ah! London, the global epicenter of culture, science and wealth, now has a population exceeding 6 million. 6 Millionen, okay, wie viel hat London now? Wie viel hat London jetzt? London Population 8,9 Millionen, okay. Also ist nochmal um ein Drittel angestiegen. Oder keine Ahnung, ob es ein Drittel ist, aber ja, doch, 2 Millionen ist ein Drittel von 6 Millionen, also ein Drittel. London, the global epicenter of culture, science and wealth, now has a population exceeding 6 million. Sadly, crime in the capital is growing at a similarly startling rate. So it's imperative that we use the latest scientific methods to investigate and resolve cases as efficiently as possible. Which is what's known as forensic science, isn't it? Exactly, the future of policing. Ah! Regrettably, however, Britain is currently dragging its feet when it comes to the adoption of forensic methods. Oh dear, that's alarming. Exactly, it's extremely alarming. Ah! If I were Her Majesty's Attorney General, you can be sure the numbers of crimes committed and resolved in London would be very different to the current figures. And I can cite 12 solid arguments and 223 individual reasons to support my claim. Alles klar. Oh man. Sorry? By way of apology for keeping you waiting earlier, I shall detail every one now. Bitte nicht. What? Oh, how fascinating. It all began 15 years ago. I was... No. Oh Mann. Einfach eingeschlafen dabei. Entschuldigung. And that more or less sums up my feelings on the matter, in the simplest of terms, of course. Essentially, to formally establish a forensic investigation division within Scotland Yard. That is my mission. Oh, right, yes. That's wonderful. Exactly. Wonderful is precisely what it will be. Iris isn't paying attention at all. She's got her nose in another book now. Aber du hast attention aufgehalten, Bruno, oder was? Oh, is it over? Did you learn anything useful? I actually drifted off for the most part. He's surprisingly ardent about forensic science. Okay, dann fragen wir ihn nochmal über den Artikel hier. Oh, that reminds me. Have you seen this? The reports of the overwhelming success of the Great Exhibition. Of course. No, not that. The story on the back page. What story? The Reaper attacked. Ah, that. You've enjoyed some victories in court against my #1 prosecutor, have you not? Poor Mr. Reaper. What happened to him? He wasn't killed, was he? There's no need for concern. Lord Van Zieks would not be so easily dispatched, I assure you. Can you tell us what happened? I'd really love to know. Very well. If it interests you, it does. Strangely. Van Zieks' condition. Fortunately, Lord Van Zieks emerged from the attack unscathed. Street ruffians are no match for that man. He's a very capable fighter. But that's incredible. They were armed with guns. Why was he attacked though? Do we know? It's related to events that occurred a month ago. A leader of one of the capital's criminal organizations was indicted and prosecuted by Van Zieks. One of the criminal organization was indicted and prosecuted. Okay. But the man was acquitted. I've no doubt large sums of money were involved behind the scenes. Large sums of money. A deplorable situation. Members of the jury were bribed, it seems. However, despite winning his freedom, the man in question met a dramatic end yesterday. Okay. But you're not just suggesting that it was the work of the Reaper, surely. The victim's henchmen certainly seemed to think so. He was a man by the name of Assman, Mr. Odie Assman. Wait. Ist das nicht das Opfer? Odie Assman, a well-known financier who perished in the explosion on the experimentation stage of the Great Exhibition. Ja, okay. Okay. The Great Exhibition of London. Warte. A leader of one of the criminal organization was indicted and prosecuted by Van Zieks. Okay. Und was ist Henchman? Handlanger, okay. He was a man by the name of Assman, Mr. Odie Assman. Did you say Assman? Ach so, das Opfer! Ah, okay. Er wurde von Van Zieks prosecuted und ist jetzt gestorben. Okay. Interessant. That's the man who died in the big explosion at the Great Exhibition. Yes, known publicly as an investor, but in reality, the head of a significant criminal organization. Unbelievable. I wonder, could I ask you something, Lord Strongheart? Try me. Why do you use Lord Van Zieks as a prosecutor? All the criminals who manage to get off in courts and meet with mysterious ends outside the courtroom. And fearful of that fate, they seek to strike at Lord Van Zieks first. I know there's no evidence that he actually is the Reaper in that sense, but still, something's clearly going on here. I have Van Zieks' work for the prosecution service for two reasons. Firstly, the man is the best prosecutor in the capital, bar none. And secondly, any deaths of criminals that have occurred outside the courtroom following these trials are nothing to do with him. But that doesn't make sense. How can you explain the way so many have died if not by someone's hand? Van Zieks may have earned himself the moniker of the Reaper, but he is no killer. So he will continue to prosecute on behalf of the Crown. Unless he wishes otherwise, of course. Okay. Well, I must be leaving for my next engagement. I'm already 11 hours and 16 minutes late. My colleagues may be starting to fidget. 11 hours late? That's quite something. Eyes up! That meeting had already started when I arrived back here for this engagement with you. So lateness was inevitable. Time stops for no man. Das waren noch keine 11 Stunden. My colleagues may be starting to fidget. Okay. I'm sure it stopped for me during those 12 solid arguments and 223 reasons. Oh yes, where would I find Lord Van Zieks now? I would assume he's at his office. Right, I'll go and ask him about the attack in person. I want to get this straight from the horse's mouth. Away with you now. I'm leaving Professor Hairbrain's defense entirely in your hands. Of course, yes. Thank you very much, my lord. Okay. Dann moven wir mal. What a fun place. I'd love to strip that big clock apart, you know. Okay, alles klar, Iris. Prison. The prison cell where the defendant Professor Hellbrain is being held. The contrast with the bright exhibition grounds makes the darkness in here seem all the more depressive. This is where your client is, isn't it? Let's find out what the story is. From prosecutor's office. You haven't been to this place. Don't forget to take me with you when you go, okay? The private office of Lord Baroque van Zieks within the prosecutor's office building. Ich glaube, da gehen wir mal als erstes hin, ne? Ich glaube, da gehen wir mal als erstes hin, weil das finde ich schon interessant. 22nd October, Prosecutor's Office. Das sieht nicht nach dem Raum aus, wie ich denke, dass der nach dem Raum aussieht, oder? Oh, so this is the legendary Reaper's office. Yes, it appears so. Brr, it sends a chill down your spine, doesn't it? What an amazingly deathly atmosphere. Oh, is that... Okay. That hooded figure was so still. I hadn't noticed his or her presence. I wonder who it is. What are you doing here? Ah! Da ist er, Van Zieks. He's as unwelcoming as I thought he'd be. Actually, maybe even more so. Oh, I'm glad to see you're well. I am. Damn. Das ist irgendwie krass, dass wir jetzt hier sind. Aber wir wissen sonst gar nichts über ihn, ne? So, who's the person over by the wall being punished for something or other? No punishment is taking place here. Oh. That's my apprentice. And he's sitting there of his own free will. I didn't know you had an apprentice. It must be the same person who was pictured in the newspaper. Okay. Der sieht keiner cool aus und keiner Professor Layton-isch, finde ich. Also der hat was Professor Layton-artiges. Der ist cool. Falls den jemand kennt aus Professor Layton. Erinnert mich ein bisschen daran. Mit der Maske und allem. He's very able in combat. A requisite skill for anyone under my tutelage. Are you referring to the attack on the Reaper that was reported in the papers? The Reaper. I'd be interested to know the Reaper's true identity myself. Assuming that is such a fabled fiend genuinely inhabits our great courtrooms. Okay. Lass mich mal umgucken hier. Okay. Einfach ein Modell von der Great Exhibition. Und hier sitzt der Bro. Das ist schon ein düsteres Büro irgendwo. Aber ich finde, es hat eine gewisse Ähnlichkeit zu dem Büro von Damon Gant, dem Polizeipräsidenten in Ace Attorney, also erst in Phoenix Wright Spiel, in diesem Bonusfall, wo Ima und alles war, wo ja, ich halt Rise from the Ashes hieß der, aus der Asche, falls sich jemand daran erinnert. Ich finde, das hat so ein bisschen Ähnlichkeit, dieses Büro damit. Ob das gewollt ist oder nicht, sei mal dahingestellt, aber ja. Und natürlich hat der Staatsanwalt hier auch ein Schachbrett stehen. Das hatte Miles Edgeworth tatsächlich auch in seinem Büro. Finde ich cool. Gut. Aber ich würde sagen, wir reden erstmal mit ihm. Last night's attack. Lord Swanghart said that the assault last night was some sort of revenge attack. True. Carried out by henchmen of O.D. Assman's criminal organization. The investigation meant their arrests were imminent. Presumably some hope to kill me before that happened. Okay. The henchmen of O.D. Assman. Okay. Hope to kill me before that happened. O.D. Assman. He's always masqueraded as one of London's most powerful financiers. a global investor. But his enormous wealth came to him by underhand means, via his criminal activities. And he used that money to buy himself a verdict of not guilty when he found himself in court, didn't he? Being prosecuted by you, Mr. Reaper. But the man got his comeuppance in the end. Yesterday, in fact, in extraordinary circumstances. It was the most unusual cause of death. I know about that. It was super high voltage instantaneous kinesis gone wrong. Was, in fact, was the most got its comeuppance, okay. Mr. Assman died when the demonstration on the public experimentation stage ended in an enormous explosion. Correct. And you think I have some kind of divine ability to cause an accident like that to happen, do you? Well, no, that does seem a little far-fetched. If this man really is the fabled Reaper, then he has to be innocent of this particular death, at least. It's strange how this has worked out, isn't it, Reno? I mean, what with your taking on the Professor's defense for the trial tomorrow? What? You're going to be defending him? Oh yes, that's right. Though I barely know the man's name yet, to be honest. Albert Einstein. Albert sag ich einfach, Albert. Albert Hairbrain. That's right. Do you know him by any chance? Of course. He's a contemporary of mine. We were at university together. Oh, okay. You are... What? Alles klar.